What the doctor ordered. If you like what you see, please If you like what you see, leave a comment, share and subscribe, and also leave a comment. Did I already say that? Oh my God. I want to talk to you today about building your chest. You're in your 40s, maybe you're in your 50s, and you think that your chance of building your chest, your pec muscles are long gone. I'm here to tell you, I disagree. I actually think you can. You just have to learn new skill acquisition. What's the biggest thing that you need to understand when it comes to building your chest? For years and years, I was smashing my head against a brick wall, looking for progressive overload. If my chest wouldn't grow, what do? I'll go heavier. I'll do more sets. I'll spend more time in the gym. I'll keep going heavier and heavier and heavier to the point of when things break down. So I want to go literally back to the start, wipe all that, let's wipe the slate clean, and let's figure out two things, because what you need to understand is, number one, your chest in terms of building muscle is contingent on two things. Number one, it's contingent on you getting scapular retraction and also scapular depression. What that means in layman's terms, it means that you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, and also you are going to get your shoulder blades to come down. This is the position that you want to be in when you're doing any type of barbell or dumbbell work. Preferably if you're in your 40s and you've got some shoulder discrepancy like I have, you're probably better off to do dumbbells. Now, the video that I'm going to show you is I am showing you an exercise that's going to help you become more stable in your bench press work, so you can start building the chest that you've always wanted. You've been banging your head against a brick wall, and I get it, I understand. So making sure that you have this skill acquisition of scapular retraction, scapular depression. So when you're in that position, you're going to do that, you're going to mimic those two things, retraction of the scapula and depression of the scapula, when you're on the foam roller. Now, with the foam roller I'm showing you in the gym, you want to use a solid foam roller. The one I'm using actually is an old one that I think the gym hasn't really replaced. So you want to make sure that you use a firm, sturdy foam roller. I do believe that Trigger Point have those sturdy foam rollers, but you want the longer one. You don't want one of those short foam rollers. So you want the long ones, okay? Preferably Trigger Point. But the point is, in the video I'm showing you how to set up, how to cue, and how to get stable. The reason why I'm showing you on a foam roller with light loads, remember, you're lifting lighter loads, you're not lifting your heavy loads when you're doing this stabilization exercise. So what you want to think about is, as soon as those dumbbells are up in the air, get immediately into scapular retraction and scapular depression, and then sustain that position from start to finish. We always talk about the standardization of the stimulus, meaning that every single rep has to look the same. Now, what we do, and I did for years in my pro career as a bodybuilder, I kept lifting heavier and kept lifting heavier and kept lifting heavier to the point where form breaks down. So with this exercise, we're going to use light loads. In the video, I'm only using 60 pounds. So, but don't let that fool you, because what you can do now over the time of skill acquisition of doing this exercise, and I would suggest that you implement the foam roller chest dumbbell press in the beginning of your chest workout. Do it with stability, making sure you got that retraction of the scapula and depression of the scapula, okay? Now, if you were to tell me, being that we're in Canada right now, if you were to ask me, Troy, here's some, not rollerblades, here is some skates, right? Is it skates? Hockey skates? Is it hockey boots? Whatever it is. Anyway, if you told me to put on a pair of hockey blades, there we go, hockey blades, you're gonna find that I'm all over the place. I lack the skill. However, if I went every day on the ice, come back a year later, I guarantee my form and my execution would be far better. Weight training is exactly the same. Why is it that us men, we're so stubborn that we think we can just walk in the gym and think that we don't have to master skill? It's all about skill and acquisition when you're in a gym, learning new movements and sticking with them, and not allowing the ego, because what happens with the ego is the brain wants path of least resistance. So when you're in this scapular retraction depression position, what will happen when you start to fatigue, your body wants the path of least resistance, your brain wants path of least resistance. So what happens is, oh, I'm just gonna come out of neutral and I'm gonna start to use my delts in the movement, and now I've lost that stability. This is what happens time and time and time again. This is probably one of the reasons why we tear our pecs. The number one root of all pec injuries, believe it or not, is the bench press. So, look at how your fibers work in your chest. So my fibers of my pec minor, they kind of go like this, slightly down. They're kind of horizontal, but they kind of go downwards. So what would be a good idea is when this arm here wants to be in parallel with those fibers. So when I'm on that foam roller, I want to get this position, not here. Think of where those fibers lie from the origin to the insertion, right? So that's where I want to line up. So that's important too. What else is important? Here's the thing, when a client comes to me and they want to improve their chest development, I might not even give them any chest work, believe it or not. You might say, that's not good. Here's what you need to remember. The thing that you need to remember when it comes to chest training is you need to create a base at the back also. So think about getting good strength and muscularity in two areas. Number one, your trapezius. Number two, in your rhomboids. Because the point or the purpose of the rhomboids is scapular retraction. So you're getting good at this position. There's some exercises that you can do also, which I'll throw into this video, that is going to help you with scapular retraction and getting really good at this exercise. And if you keep doing this over time with skill, I guarantee you, with nutrition being sound, your stress management is in order, your sleep is in order, your nutrition's in order, and you're doing good form technique execution with perfect form, and you're getting strict repetitions. Because the key with weight training, what I found over the years, it's not about getting the reps, it's about actually challenging the muscle from a hypertrophy standpoint. So, train your upper back. Two great exercises. One of them's in this video. I didn't get to film the other one, unfortunately. I do apologize. But what you want to do is a variation of a lat pull down. I call this a standing pronated grip with the straight bar lat pull down, and you're doing it standing. And this is kind of like a inverted row, if you will. Inverted rows are also amazing to do. I would encourage you to do two of these exercises. The one I'm doing in the video, the lat pull down, the standing lat pull down variation, and also the inverted row. And you really want to train the hell out of your upper back. And really also, when you're training your rear delts, get very proficient at training your rear delts, because having strong rear delts will also help support you having a strong chest. Because what I've found is that the pecs and the back kind of mirror alongside each other, if that makes sense. I thought it would be a good idea and go through this exercise and show you again, just so you get a bird's eye view of how to nail your form when doing this in the gym if you're trying to build your upper back. Hey honey, you couldn't do me a favor, could you? That's Jasmine, you couldn't just move out the way just a little bit, honey. I'm just about to film this video here. Oh, I appreciate it, baby, love you, thank you so much. Okay, what we're gonna do now is go into the exercise. So the first thing you want to do, this is a standing modified lat pull down to the front, and we are standing, we are bracing our leg, our foot if you will, against the machine. You can even put your foot up on the pad that you sit on, but I prefer this is better. And the key here is I'm not moving my torso. I am locked in position, my core is on, my core is braced, and I'm pulling that bar to my mid chest, but keeping my shoulders and traps down. And again, focusing on that key variable that we've been talking about all through this video. Two things. Number one, scapular retraction and depression at the same time. And I'm really making those contractions count. I'm probably pausing for 2 seconds here on every rep, resisting my eccentric phase on 3 seconds. And again, as I'm doing here at the end, I'm holding that contraction for even longer. I'm very big on isometric contractions, especially towards the end of a set. I wanted to show this one as well. This is another one I find that really helps with that position of scapular depression and retraction. And this is an exercise that I actually did with Flex Lewis back in the day, 7-time Mr. Olympia. We had a few training sessions together and he taught me a few things about, training pectorals. And this is one. The reason why I like it is constant tension on the cable. That's one of the beautiful things about using a cable machine, is its constant muscular tension, which is what you really want to be doing when you're working for hypertrophy. Now, again, look at this. See my torso? I'm braced. I'm not going anywhere. I'm on my knees. I'm locked in. I've got that scapular retraction and depression, and I'm keeping my arms nice and square. I'm trying to follow those fibers that run horizontal in my pec major, and I'm making every single rep count. I'm making sure that those tempos are intact, and I'm really making sure that my chest muscles is continuously with tension. There's no rest. As soon as I maybe lock my arms out, the muscle gets to rest, but I don't want that. Now it's starting to get hard. In a second, you'll probably notice that I actually come out of position, I lose it. Remember, the brain wants path of least resistance. The brain, see right there, the brain wants path of least resistance. It wants to make the movement more efficient. It wants to make it easier for you. But you, my friend, have to resist that urge. You have to lock yourself in, and remember, it's all about skills. Work on the skill set of a movement. Skill set and acquisition is right up there with oxygen on this exercise. So that is the kneeling cable chest press. Give it a try. Another thing you want to remember when you're doing any type of stability work or anything where stability really comes into play and you're really having to focus, is kind of pretend, if you will, like there is a hurricane coming through the gym. And the objective is the hurricane is trying to blow you over. You're locked in, right? You're stable. And the hurricane's coming through the gym and it's trying to take you out, but you cannot move because you are so stable. Or another way of looking at it is to think that somebody's trying to run at you. So if someone's trying to run at you, and let's say you're in a plank position, there's no way that you can move. Another tip as well is to incorporate into your chest training doing things like what I'm showing you in the video too. Doing things like planks, doing things like bird dogs, doing things like dead bugs, doing things like knee tucks on the Swiss ball as an example, on the stability ball. These things in between sets will help you get stable. What I've learned also, having strong rhomboids and traps is crucial to chest development, but also having a strong core is also good for chest development. Not forgetting having a really good thoracic spine, having really good, what's the word I'm looking for here? Thoracic. Being able to have really good diaphragmatic so if I look at Arnold's structure. If you look at his structure, he has a really big rib cage, right? Most of us might not have a rib cage like Arnold. So for Arnold, it was very easy for him to put on muscle on his chest because he had a big rib cage. For any of you that are watching this video, you might have a very flat rib cage. That means it's going to be very, very hard for you to build muscle on those pec muscles, on the pec minor and also on the pec major. So this is why it's so important to focus on stability. So the goal is, with stability, the bottom line is that I want to decrease the distance between the dumbbell or the barbell and my chest. And the only way to do that is contingent on scapular retraction, meaning I'm going to be here. So really, if you are a flat person or you have a flat rib cage, make your boobies big. So make your chest as big as possible when you're in this position. This pretty much goes for any chest exercise. So as we bring this video in for a landing, I wanted to give you a bird's eye view of the foam roll dumbbell chest press. Sorry for the graphic image, but you get my point here. Making sure everything goes in straight lines. That whole foam roller needs to go from your head all the way down your spine towards your coccyx in a nice straight line. The body works best in straight line. Slow eccentrics, as you can see here, feet are planted firmly on the ground. My chest is up. I am squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'm depressing my shoulder blades as well. It's a lot harder than it looks, let me tell you, but I'm making every single rep count. By the way, I'm doing this before I go into my quote unquote actual workout. This will be done before, so I might go onto the bench and transition onto the bench. but I maintain this position that I'm in now on the foam roller and implement that and mimic that when I'm on the bench press doing flat dumbbell presses or a flat barbell press. So that is it. As you can see, it's a lot harder than it looks. Keep with it. Skill acquisition. Practice makes perfect. Governor. If you like what you see, leave a comment, share and subscribe, and also leave a comment. Did I already say that? Oh my God.